first of all these events are possible because they expect our invites and invest their time and energy and try to beat the traffic in Bangalore also and trying to figure out parking as well. So we'll just get started. The brief about you, about the company that you founded, and we'll take questions from everybody then. Ankita.
Hello, everyone. Glad to see so many founders and startup enthusiasts here. I am Ankita. I am founder of Utsav. It's into spirituality tech. We collaborate with different temples across India, and we enable doing pujas from home. People who are not able to travel. We also take care of the prasad deliveries and all, so the logistics is also involved. It's been around 2 years I'm working, and we are 3 founders. We have crossed approx 30,000 deliveries of prasad and puja bookings till now, and collaborated with above 30 temples across India.
Okay, awesome. And as a background effect, Midul is setting up as their landing pages. Yes.
Hello guys, this is Nishant. Currently I'm working on Mopid. So Mopid is an AI recruiter. Right now working on it as in a B2B way, working with a bunch of companies and hiring for them, and slowly we'll start opening up to individual people who want to get hired. Previously I was doing Examedly, that was in the edtech space, into the B2C space. So yeah, over to Srishty.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nisha. Srishty.
Hi everybody, my name is Srishty Jain. I'm the founder and CEO of CoLLearn Education. CoLLearn is India's one of the largest sports edtech platform. What do? We help people become sports analysts, sports commentators, sports journalists, sports scientists, sports social media managers, sports event managers, and umpires. So far, we have given India almost 300 plus active sports analysts, 200 plus umpires, and 40 plus commentators and journalists. Today, our students are working with Rajasthan Royal, Delhi Capital, KKR, ESPN, Times Now, TV9, TV42. We have students for Cricket Ireland, Cricket Phil. We have students, the first analyst of Nigerian Cricket Board. We also have students working with Neeraj Chopra as a sports analyst. We have, India has 38 state cricket associations, out of which 24 have toppers from our students, from our student network.
Awesome. Oh, brilliant.
So we are backed by Google Accelerator, one of the top performing startups of IIM Bangalore and SRCell. So we are vested by a cricketer. So that news will break in a week's time. Everything has happened now.
Okay.
so news is broken. So that would give us a lot of wings and become the largest platform in the world. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Srishty. I'll start with a few questions and then we'll open up for everyone. Srishty, why this as an opportunity, not something else? What motivated you to start CoLLearn and pursue this as an opportunity?
Okay, I come from investment banking background. I worked in India and Dubai for 11 years. I did my second MBA from UCLA Anderson, and that's when I thought that I was always fascinated by the startup network of India, and I wanted to go back. And some brainwashed by my professor and something, my own intents. So just left everything in Dubai. Also convinced my spouse to leave his job. So both of us came to India in October 2019, just before COVID. And since then, I've been doing this. Why this space? See, when I came to India, I knew that I didn't want to do anything in, K-12 or IT prep or, engineering or medical prep. So the clear white space was in non-traditional segment. Even today, we don't make anybody Virat Kohli. We make everybody who is around Virat Kohli, right? So that's a very non-traditional. And how did sports happen? We started with a lot of things. Like we were doing design thinking, we were doing Bitcoin, we were doing blockchain, we were doing data science. But then we got incubated, and our incubator told us that please focus on one, deepen your presence in one division. Right time at the right place. Neeraj Chopra just won his first gold, change middle class mind. So we picked up sports. And today we are the largest one. We are also recognized by Ministry of Education and a lot of other such platforms. So it's been, I mean, we were the first. Even today we don't have much of competition. We are one in, but that makes the life little tough because we have to invent the playbook.
Correct. You have to spend a lot of time in awareness. Nishant, you mentioned you were into D2C. So you made a lot of money, or you didn't make a lot of money in B2C, and now you're doing B2B. You made a lot of money while doing B2C?
No. We burned a lot of money. So the motivation, so when I got into college in 2013, that was the time when one of my alums got invested by a bunch of investors. He got, I guess, 35 million. So he was building the competition of Oyo rooms, Zo rooms, and then he eventually merged his company. So that was one of the kickstarters, and I also come from UP. So I kind of had just two paths that I wanted to either get into UPSC or I wanted to do a startup. Then during my college days, I interned with Blinkit, which was at that time Grofers. And straight out of college, I started doing UPSC prep. But I had been looking at the potential of India and what are the hindrances in it. And I guess maybe a couple of people might have heard, a couple of people recently said that in UPSC prep, we are losing a lot of minds. Like there are north of 4 or 5 crore people preparing for jobs where there are hardly 1 to 2% seats. So 4 to 5 lakh seats, 4 crore people in the age group of 16 to 30. And they are giving up to 3, 4, 5 attempts. And if you want India to grow over the next couple of decades, you need this time that is getting wasted to be converted into something else. So that was how the foundation of the first idea of Examerly came about, where we divided the entire syllabus into very small manageable chunks, put on a layer of AI, which could track your preparation. So that, see, to crack any exam, you need to either score between 30 to 50%. So if someone can keep telling you that, okay, you have completed 30% of the syllabus, you completed 40% of the syllabus in micro bits, that solves a lot of time problems. So that was the thesis with which we started, but eventually the major problems with EdTech, which I would like to take up later, that caught up with us. And then we realized that we need to move into something where we can actually make money. So we started doing Mopid. So now we've started making some money.
Okay. With Examerly, did you raise external funding?
We raised mostly from my alumni network. So I kind of structured my alumni network of IIT BHU, and in that process, I ended up raising about $500,000.
Okay. And for Mopid also? With the current
Mopid, we decided that we will not raise.
Okay. Why? The experience wasn't good?
Basically, see, like the first company, you would round $500,000. Okay. So it was obviously going to be difficult. But we realized that we had all the knowledge. We could build products, we could scale products and everything. The only thing that we hadn't learned was how to make money.
Okay.
So we decided that we'll focus on making money. We'll starve ourselves of funds and we'll ensure that we learn how to make money. Okay. That is something that over 3 years of building Examerly, we had not learned.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Nishant. Ankita, why Utsav as an opportunity?
So it started in college. So we were in college final year and we were still deciding, whether we should go for a job. So to give a brief background, I am from Calcutta. I did my engineering from a tier 2 college and it was not an NIT, IIT. And we had two options, right? Specifically one, you take a job, right? But we thought that, it was just like it was 2019, 2021, that phase. And we realized that COVID was also, coming up. And that was the perfect time when we were at home. We had a lot of free time. We were not going to college. And we kept on building some products or the other, right? That gave us two things. One was a lot of experience in how products work. And second is we also started working for other clients, right? Other startups, other, maybe seniors of our college who wanted to build something but couldn't. So we kept on learning and we kept on building different products. We served approx 7 clients, including, clients from abroad as well. So that gave us some bit of money and also it gave us the experience that is needed to build a product. We saw a very simple use case during COVID, which was Durga Puja in Calcutta. We thought that is the first time people are not able to go and visit the temples, visit the pandals, and why don't we create an app where people could, watch it digitally and not miss out on these celebrations. So we launched a very basic product. It was in the market with a couple of thousands downloads, and there was no big agenda behind it. Right? We didn't think that it will be a startup one day. We'll raise money. We'll do something. It was just out of mere fun and something that we wanted to do because we were at home, and people loved the product. And with that, before engineering was about to get over, we pitched out to a lot of investors because we thought that if this could be a successful venture, then probably we don't have to do a job as well. So that's how we raised our first pre-seed round before our college, like during college, before we pass out. And that was the motivation why we thought that we have built something, we have seen people love something in this space, and there's a lot of potential that this market has, right? Indian spirituality market is one of the oldest businesses running since centuries. So we thought that it's a good way to start.
Okay, and what was your family's response that you were starting a business, not taking up a job or doing masters?
To be honest, family members didn't know till we raised our first round. And then we told them कि हमारे पास कुछ पैसे हैं, so we don't want to take a job. So that was the icebreaker when we said that we are not taking up the job. We had a couple of, some TCS, CTS jobs just as a backup, but that was it, right? We didn't take it seriously. And we told them after we raised our first pre-seed round that, we are not taking up job anymore.
Okay, you raised that and you have raised from other VCs also later on.
Yes, not at that point, but after a couple of months again.
Okay, I'll have one more question, then we'll open up for everyone. So when we talk about consumer businesses, there is a lot of talk about unique consumer insights. So you as a founder, what unique consumer insight that you have that others in your space or others who look at your space not necessarily have it?
Right. So first, when we started building a community product only, where there was no revenue and nothing, we were at a very blank space. We didn't know that, whether these communities will at some time, give us revenue, whether the engagement will be high enough. And we realized that there were a lot of ideas in our minds, which we have before we dive into the market, right? Before we actually get the customers. And those ideas are like, puja kaun karte honge? Maybe, the moms. But if you see data today, around 60 to 70% of our customers are male, right? So these kind of insights come up when you actually talk to customers and when you actually see, who is the one who is purchasing the product.
Okay. Nishant, from your experience, what is that unique insight that you have discovered while building your business?
See, I was myself preparing for UPSC for 2.5, 3 years. And I realized that while preparing, the syllabus is massive. Of any exam in India, the syllabus is just massive. And the funny thing is that if you've mastered 30-40% of the syllabus, you can get through. But how can you identify which 30% is that you will be good at? So for that, you have to go through the syllabus 10 times. So that was one insight, because I cracked JEE. I cracked JEE kind of in a similar way. I just got 5-10 marks over the cutoff. In UPSC, I got 5-10 marks below the cutoff. So I realized that was the crucial point. Then for Mopid, what we are building is an AI recruiter. So this insight came from our experience while building Examily. The team was small. We didn't have a lot of funds. And you had to hire people. You had to hire people quickly. And we realized that 85 to 90% of the tasks that are being done in recruitment are useless. They obviously add value, like downloading CVs. Okay, if you get 600 CVs, downloading those 600 CVs is not going to add something. Then just going, collecting the data of what is the experience that you have, what is your CTC, what is the notice period. All of these things, if they can be automated, 90% of effort goes out. Speed becomes faster. You stop missing out on the best candidates. So that was the insight on which we are building Mopid.
Awesome. Srishty, you briefly mentioned, and in a way you are saying that you are alone in this space who are doing at this scale. So what is that unique insight that you have?
Okay.
Or do you want to share that?
Obviously, I want to share. So for us, the very, very unique insight that we found out within 6 months of operations was that India is an outcome-driven market in education. People will drop out at 12th standard if tomorrow, degrees are not needed for any job. This is something which we figured out. And we had a lot of competitors along the way. And most of them either, shut shop or pivoted. The reason being because from that 6 month onwards, we started focusing on outcome. We said that if we can make people umpires and place them, if we can make people sports analysts and place them in Rajasthan Royal or any IPL franchisee, we will have business for life. If we can't do that, then might as well shut shop and do something else. So that was the biggest, insight for us in terms of edtech, that if you have outcome and clearly defined outcome, and if you can tell that XYZ, yes, you can do this by following this, your business will do very well. So this was for us very big insight. And at the time we realized, we knew that we are here for long term.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll open up for anybody has any questions about businesses that they are building or something you are working on, you made in your opinion for anyone? Yes. You can.
This is to you in person. See, we are building a finance wellness platform, right? See, just like how you mentioned about sports not being a big forte in the education sector, finance as a different chapter in the edu space is still growing, right? As of today, I think hardly 2 or 3 brands has promoted themselves as a finance platform or a finance education platform, like 1% Club or whatnot, right? So in finance, just like how you mentioned, we can't place them, or there's no outcome in finance, right? Meaning, if I give an example, suppose we teach somebody how can they invest better at SIPs, or how can they be better at money management, right? The outcome cannot be measurable in that sense.
Now, measurable.
Yeah,
Why not? I mean, what is their portfolio at day X when they start, and what is their portfolio at plus when they have taken your solution for like 1 month or 2 months or 3 months? I think, what I've seen with a lot of, and we also tried finance. I mean, I come from pure finance background. I'm a CFA charter holder, CIA charter holder, worked in investment banking for like 11 years, right? So I also wanted to do, but there's that, sports happened, and then we thought we are good at sports. So for me, if I would have been at your place, I would definitely do the outcome measurement. For example, just give you an example, we sell a lot of our products to academies as a sports analytics, right? So why do coaches come to us? Well, India's some of the biggest coaches has come to our platform, and what do we teach them? We say that if you're a student, come today. Okay, you run a very big academy, 200 students come on a monthly basis. And on day 1, say you just take video of your student, put it in the analytics tool, and on day 20 or 25, when his parents come and say that, "Mera bachcha kaisa kar raha hai," you show that video and see how he has improved. Definitely there will be improvement from day 1 to day 30, right? In your case also, you should do the same thing, because see, in India, nobody wants to even pay 1 rupee for knowledge or for gyan. People will see 200 videos on Instagram and LinkedIn to just save that 200 rupees of a class, right? So unless you can showcase that, I have students who have made this much money, it may be 5%, it may be 10%, but some improvement there. Yeah. With proper disclaimers that this is just, representative. It's subject to market risk and all of that you have to disclaim, but always show that. This is what my belief is. Others can add to it. If anybody here, we have somebody from EdTech background here.
We might have other question. Asha, anybody has any questions? I'll continue asking them questions. Okay. Ankita, how many users you have?
So currently we have around 2 lakh users. Monthly basis, website visitors are around 3 lakh plus. Customers we have served around 30,000 plus.
Okay, you mentioned about initially you Kolkata was the area that you were focused on. How did you scale up outside of Kolkata? What did you do so that you get discovered by newer set of people?
Right. I think the first couple of temples we collaborated was in and around Bengal. We figured out a way on how we can convince these temples, because it's a very new game for them, right? This is a very conventional sort of game where they have been, and they don't know, how this online thing would work. A lot of them fear going online, right? So there's a lot of, explaining, and there's a lot of awareness that comes for us to play. The first kind of expansion that we did was through referrals from the temples we were already working, right? So we reached out to those head priests and asked them, if you have any contacts in nearby temples, we are happy to collaborate with them. If you can just put a word forward to them. So that was how we did. Second, I think, like Srishty said, that setting up examples, right? So once you can show that these couple of temples who have been associated us for the past 3 months, and this is how their revenues or their devotees have joined them. has grown over the past 3 months online, then it becomes a deal breaker for them, right? They are okay to join. So I think these are the two ways we did. One was through referrals, and the second was showing new temples if we are directly pitching to them that this is the growth that we have brought in online for those temples.
Okay, so when you were having this discussion with these temples, what kind of resistance you were getting from them?
Yeah, I think it's similar to how it works for any other clients or marketing, that you have to pitch to 100 people, 10 people would reply and 2 people would say yes, right? That's how it works. So it works like that for us. We figured out who would be the warm leads for us, which temples are easier to convince, and we have seen the trends that has been going in. Say, for example, in hub spots like Ujjain, Kashi, Ayodhya, these are the places where there is a lot more temples and there is a lot of more awareness in terms of how things are also going digitally now, right? So that is how. Second, we also figured out that convincing the older generation is difficult to bring them online, but when you talk to their son or their daughters, it becomes easier because they are tech savvy. So that is how we did.
Okay, awesome. I'll continue asking them question, but anybody has questions? Yes.
I have a question for Nishant. So you run basically kind of a placement. Your clients are more on the recruiter's part, where you help them in basically shortlisting the candidates perfect for the jobs. So correct? So there are multiple other platforms like Flexible, and some of them are US based, some of them are India based. So they also have specialized in specific role. For example, it could be design, it could be product management, it could be engineers, or it could be front end or back end, both of them. So what makes you different from that perspective?
So right now we are just focusing on speed. Okay, we are just focusing on speed and building this entire automation. The utopia is to kind of become Zepto for hiring. Because a majority of processes that happen, we have automated them. And the funny thing is, let's say if I get 100 profiles of React developers, if there are, let's say 20 out of them who are good, and I run the entire process on the 20, I send to a company, the company hires 2 people. 18 good people are left who have been already processed. So when the next company comes, let's say within the next week or so, because till then the people are still looking for jobs, if they are immediate joiners and all. Okay, so if you put in a similar or same requirement, I can practically give you people directly who have been tested, who have gone through maybe a couple of rounds of interview, have given tests. So all that data is in one place and you just get people in 10 minutes. So as the platform would scale. So right now we are trying to do a lot of things so that our platform gets tested enough. Once we realize that, okay, there are some niches where this is working better. Like right now, we are working with about 30 companies, and out of the 80 odd roles that are live with us, about 65, 80% are AI roles, NLP, CV, LLM, MLOps, etc. So right now we are majorly doing AI, but we would want to do other roles, test the platform thoroughly, and then maybe 1 year, 1.5 years later, we'll pin down on one particular segment.
Okay. A follow-up on that could be, the major point from the recruiter's perspective is, since there are so many different job sites that have come up recently, so how does a recruiter, are you building something for the recruiter just to be a kind of a funnel so that he can also track multiple other applications coming from different job sites into one platform?
Yes, so the entire automation starts off with pulling out the data from your mail from different platforms. So if you have posted so you won't even need to post the jobs. You will put the information, that integration we are working on. You will put the information in the system. It will be integrated with whatever job boards you have access to, and it will automatically post there. The people who apply there, their profiles will be automatically pulled into the system, screened, data collected. If you've asked the platform to take a test, it will also take a test. So this is all will be automated, and then we'll finally get this report that, okay, these are the people who scored this much in the test, CTC in the range, notice period in the range, location, etc. So you'll get a kind of a final report, and then you just take 1 or 2 rounds of interview and finalize PPS. Yeah, got it.
Thank you.
Awesome. And for consumer businesses, the key aspect becomes leveraging the networks, either social media, video platforms, or communities. Srishty, what did you do well? So, which are the channels worked out for you? Any strategies that you applied worked out?
The referrals. The existing student network worked very well for us. Even today, we get so many referrals in each batch of ours. Students love us. When we have new students coming and we just say that, can you speak to our old student? And obviously, it's an open network. Everybody's there on LinkedIn. We give their numbers. We give their LinkedIn IDs. And so far, I mean, every time when my student talks to any new student, it's always converted. And even students refer that, ma'am, when are you starting this new batch? I have 3-4 friends who wanted to join. So for me, I think in EdTech, you don't have to do that much of sales if your product is good and your students, your existing students are your mouthpiece, then it just works like, it works very well. And for that, you have to really work hard with your existing students. You have to go out of your way to, help them out, and they should feel. See, we have so far trained around 3,500 students, and our course price range from 25,000 to 75,000 for an online course with offline integrations little bit. So, but our 1,100 students have made it to sports jobs so far. We still have 2,500 almost students who haven't made it to any jobs as such. But even if you speak to those 2,500 students, they still love us because they have seen that CoLLearn as a platform has helped them immensely, and they are lacking somewhere which they may improve at some point in time and join. So for us, that has helped a lot. And obviously LinkedIn as a platform, though we are a sports company, but LinkedIn has helped us a lot because today, any cricketer, any, RC, any franchise owners, everybody for that matter, all the sponsors, everybody's on LinkedIn. So that has helped us a lot.
So LinkedIn has, so what do you do? Like you create video content, you write stories, you talk about behind the scenes.
Okay, when my student thank, I do a very, very simple thing, and this works with magic. So when a student comes and says that, ma'am, today I made it to Hockey India as a sports analyst, and I'm so grateful that I joined CoLLearn, and I just take that screenshot and just post it and just congratulate that student. It is as simple as that, but it comes from the heart of the student. It doesn't look like it is fake, and the student actually on that particular message, he also says thank and everything again. So that helps us in a very big way.
Okay. Yeah. Nishant, what distribution channels worked out for you, things you did well?
So actually in the first company, hardly anything worked out, and I realized like EdTech is a very, very big market. Like practically anyone and everyone and throughout their life cycles can keep learning things. So we were particularly in the exam prep segment, and it was much later that I realized that particularly for exam preparation, there is something called the God teacher. So the three big startups, Byju's, Unacademy, and PhysicsWala, in this segment, they all have similar stories. There was a teacher who became really famous, and on the back of him, the company grew. And then it stabilized or whatever happened. All three companies are in different states right now. So that was one of the biggest learnings and realizations that we had, that next time when we jump into something, see, we have people who can make design, who can make product, who can write the code, etc., etc. We didn't have, as I earlier told, someone who could sell, and we needed to identify which is the market where we can sell. The selling is still possible, but what is the market that you have a grip on? So in these last 3 years, I had networked a lot within my college community with a lot of founders in Bangalore, and I realized that I was very close to a lot of founders. So that was the reason that we thought that we'll do something in B2B. So that was the first thing, that we will now do something into B2B. So if you want to do something in consumer, my very hard belief, having burnt my fingers, is that you have to, in one way or the other, identify where there's a big mass. Like for exam prep, you don't find people on any platform, because if they're preparing seriously for an exam, they're not on any social media platform. So that makes it even harder to reach them. Okay. So identifying what is one area where you already have a presence or where you can build a presence.
Okay. Awesome. And that's the thing with consumer businesses. Eventually, you'll have a big B2B component. Not for adding consumers, but for getting a lot of businesses. Ankita, which distribution channels worked out for you? Something that you tried, but videos working out for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think videos any day work for us. So content definitely works for us. Social media works for us. Product, marketing through our product also works very well. So we have seen, people who are hooked onto our product, there's always a 30% repeat purchases happening via the product, right? Without any marketing spends going in. So I think these are the 3 channels that work for us. We work very diligently on creating videos, in terms of Gyan videos, in terms of different, mantras, their meanings. So a lot of innovation goes into content per se. Also, there's like different kind of blogs that we publish, right? On a monthly basis, we publish around 150 to 200 blogs, and they work out pretty well. So I think content has been the main channel through which.
Okay. 7:30, another 10-15 minutes of this panel, then we'll move to the D2C brand. Any questions you may want to ask them? Anyone? Yes.
Hi, I have a question for all 3 of you. So, if there is time, Jatin, do we have time for it? Cool. Okay. So I'll start with Ankita. Right. From the user insights aspect, right? Our primary users for this kind of a platform would be 40 plus, right? Who are more spiritually inclined, but then they are not tech savvy, right? And when it comes to this generation, a lot more people are losing the proclivity to spirituality. How are you looking at it on a long-term basis in terms of marrying these generations and bridging that gap? Could you talk a little bit about that?
Right. I think you're absolutely correct that, the ideal customer base for us is 30-35 plus, up till anyone who is comfortable using a smartphone. For that, we have channelized our entire product cycle via WhatsApp, right? So they don't need to be tech savvy. Even if it's your grandfather or, people, your parents, you'll see they're okay with using a WhatsApp, right? So from our messaging, content, to the entire product cycle, how they can book a puja, what are the steps, what's the next step that happens after they have made a payment, right? Everything is channelized via WhatsApp, right? So that's how we have leveraged WhatsApp as a medium of communication with our customers, and that works out because WhatsApp is something that is comfortable for everybody.
Amazing. Does that dilute the delivery of spirituality? Because when we are saying it's recorded pujas or live pujas that are being delivered, does that somehow dilute the essence of not being in the presence of that holy space? Are you thinking about that?
Absolutely. We never claim ourselves that we are a replacement of your pujas, right? You can visit a pilgrimage maybe once in a year, right? People visit once in 5 years. What we are telling you is on the auspicious occasions, like your birthday, like your anniversary, or say, for example, some important auspicious tithi, like Akshay Tritiya just, went, or Navratris are coming. So what you say is we are an opportunity when they are not able to travel, right? So if they want to travel, if they are okay going to their temples once in a year, we are not saying you don't go. We are saying you have the other 11 months when you can come to us.
Thanks, Ankita.
Thank you. Anybody else?
This person.
Sure.
This question for Ankita. In spiritual places, temples, there will be some other occasions. Means they conduct annadana, food donation camps. For that also, you are having any in your platform, anything?
Absolutely. Different sevas, which include Go Seva, Annadan, Brahman Bhojan, right? Different rituals which happen on ghats, right? We are also operational there in terms of we are operational in Haridwar ghats, Kashi ghats, Gaya ke jo ghat hai wahan pe bhi. So yes, we are operational and it works out.
And very key element is retention. That you would acquire a lot of users, but then the churn happens. Then what do? Any interesting retention strategy worked out for you?
See, for us, it's a sports, right? I mean, we run communities where discussions happen on a daily basis. When IPL goes, it's on a minute basis. The discussion, there'll be 1,000 messages exchanged. For us, luckily, we are in a space where we don't have to do so much for retention. The people who like each other and, the community is big enough and they have found out their own friends and, people, like-minded people. So they talk to each other. Sometimes when we see there is some, something is missing in the community, then we just throw some questions, or we throw some projects, or we throw some competitions, or we do meet and greet like this in our office. So that happens, but all our communities, whether it is umpiring, whether it is analytics, whether it is, they're very, very active, during IPL. And these days, the whole year, there will be some or other tournament happening. They're very active in that.
They are active on something that you manage or on social media?
No,
They've done
that
for
we
you.
manage. We are the admins for that. But it's an open community. We don't restrict anybody from, saying their point of view. Because it's not like one-way communication. We want them to talk. We want them to be each other's best friends. And we want them to cheer for each other. So, and best part is trainers are also part of those communities. And most of our trainers are very big celebrities. So they're also part of it. So every student want to impress him or her as well. And that also helps in a different way, where they don't put good morning, good afternoon messages, and they only talk meaningful talks. So for us, that has helped a lot.
Awesome. Nishant, for Mopid early days, but any interesting retention strategies work for you?
So here I don't have to try to retain, right? So either it is a company जिसकी हालत खराब है उसको बंदे हायर करने हैं, ठीक है? तो मुझे रिटेन करने के लिए कुछ नहीं करना, I just have to give them profiles. The people who are looking for jobs, so here there's not a problem of retention. In Examiner, definitely there was. So one thing that we did was sending notifications. So notifications was not working that well. So, then we started integrating these quotes. So now for people who are preparing for competition, motivation is like drugs. So if you keep feeding them that, they keep coming. So that was one thing. Then saying that 10 days ago you had a possibility of 90% of cracking this exam, and 1 week you haven't been studying, so now it is dropping to 40%. So basically fear and motivation. But yeah, we didn't get an opportunity to work on it that long, and then we used a lot of strategies from Duolingo.
Okay.
So basically, like Duolingo, you learn in small packets. So we used a lot. So if someone is trying to build an app in consumer segment, so I would definitely say studying Duolingo, and there are a lot of case studies on Duolingo. Studying that would be really helpful. How they have made learning a language, which definitely a lot of people are interested in. It is a hobby activity, and it is a very tough thing to do, because generally you think about that at north of 20, and then you have lesser time, and then it's really hard to manage a schedule. So definitely Duolingo is one platform that can teach you a lot, and then depending on your segment and sector, you can pick up things.
Okay. Ankita, what kind of strategies work for you?
Yeah, I think till now, product messages have worked wonders, right? WhatsApp nudges, push notifications work great. I would say we are still, figuring out how to improve retention even further, because these are nudges which are external, right? Which we are telling them that you have to do, and then they do. We want to be that thing that comes in their mind whenever they think of, maybe praying once in a day, right? So we want to fill that gap, that with Utsav, you can not just book pujas at famous temples, but it becomes a part of your daily prayer activity, right? So that is how the actual retention would come into picture, and that is still we are figuring it out in terms of how the product should be.
Okay, last 5 minutes of this panel. Anybody has any questions? Else I want to do a... Yes, please. Speak louder now.
What are the things in this field? The source of it, what it's as some skill to the person is living in ready gaps or moving. Getting the search for the next. Then we have that to get for the
Research for the candidates, as in like for candidates to find jobs that would fit their profile, sir.
then a little it can be that way at and get that why would they ever be in the standard work. So about this stuff we met at the babies I mean like so get a boom like this is the gap and this.
Okay, so first part, sourcing is pretty straightforward. You have 10 platforms, Naukri, Hirist, LinkedIn. You keep posting on them, then you utilize communities. So I'm part of a lot of groups and all of my college and a few other colleges. So I get it posted there. The main problem is ensuring that all the data comes in one place. So that part we have done. So wherever we get data, the second part is now that we have ourselves a database of north of 70,000-80,000 profiles. So if like yesterday night at 10:30 or 11 p.m., one of my alums posted something in a group, in the entrepreneurs group. So he was looking for, I guess, MLOps people. And within 40 minutes, I was able to send him 9 profiles. So I obviously didn't get an opportunity to go and post on LinkedIn. So that is through my database. So most probably in a year's time, 99%, like right now, fulfillment rate from our database is around 80-82%. We want to push this to beyond 95%. For researching for candidates, that is practically what we are building. You can't really comment what the salary of a person would be, because I was recently sending a couple of founding engineers to a company, and there were 5-6 very similar profiles, almost same experience, almost similar type of college, and their CTC ranges were from, one guy was at 40, this was the least, and the guy who was at highest was at 93 LPA. Okay, so it's actually very, very hard to predict. It depends on your negotiation skills. It depends on whether you got hikes and how much the company needed you. So you can't really you can give a ballpark, but we actually collect that actual data from people. So we've built a system around that, SMS, mail and everything. So within 24 hours, even if there are 1,000 profiles, we collect everyone's exact precise data.
Okay.
So that we are building.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Yes. Oh. Okay. Yes. Give answers in one line. How do you want it? Yes. How?
Yeah.
But do you get affiliate kind of partnerships also outside of like placing them? So placement could be a business model.
But we are only charging bundled, pricing, that we'll charge this much for your mentorship, for your placement support, for your projects and for your certification, and then they just pay us and we share the fees with our trainers, and then business happens. It's very straightforward like any other edtech.
So right now we are only charging companies because we are working on a HR consultancy right now. Once the product is live, initially we'll be charging the companies only, depending on the features that they use. So if someone doesn't need sourcing, they have, let's say you raised a 3 million round. So automatically across WhatsApp, LinkedIn, email, everything combined, you will get 2,000 applications. Now you have a bunch of applications and you're pretty sure that whatever roles you are hiring for, there would be people, but going through 2,000-3,000 resumes is difficult for you. So maybe you can pick us up from there, that you can post a link and you can connect us with your WhatsApp and email and LinkedIn and everything. That, okay, whatever resume comes, just pick up and then segregate it. So if you want sourcing, then there will be a different pricing. If you want segregation, data management, so that will be split into parts, and there obviously will be a combined plan. Then we plan to slowly get into the mode into charging customers also, because a lot of people keep approaching us that can you help me find a job. Finding a job again has 7, 8, 10 steps. First, we have to ensure that your CV is a perfect fit of your experiences. A lot of people end up not writing what they know, and some people end up writing things that they actually don't know about. Okay, so ensuring that is a perfect fit, then ensuring that it matches with the company's JD. So that is how we've planned to progress. Right now, directly companies, 1 month, 1.5 months is what they pay. Then moving to feature-based pricing, then slowly moving to that B2C segment again, where people will pay us to help them crack jobs faster.
Okay. Ankita?
Yeah, so for us, earlier we couldn't monetize. I think you are facing something similar. That's why you asked this question. We were building a community and we couldn't monetize. Monetizing a community app in India is very, very difficult. There's a lot of burn that happens in the beginning, which we realized we couldn't afford. So we pivoted the product in such a way that hum aapke liye puja karayenge. We'll get the pujas done for you, right? So every puja, we have 2 new models at this moment in the app. One is pay per puja and the other is a subscription, where if you are like a very hardcore devotee, in that case, people book for 12 months, right? So on a monthly basis, one puja happens and prasad, everything is sent to you. So you don't have to book it for the next 12 months. So we take a 12-month subscription, and we also have a paper puja purchase order now.
Okay, awesome. Last question I want to ask. So whatever has happened for good. So that point is taken. But from your journey, what is one thing that you feel that you could have done little differently? Any business decisions, approach, any one thing you think?
I mean, honestly, I don't want to change anything because when you are the category creator, you do a lot of experiments. Some goes well, some goes, some doesn't. But you learn and you become much more smarter.
Something you feel
One thing which I would have changed is, having those, having a very clear-cut retention plan for my employees, which I think I'm learning now. I haven't learned it that way. So some of my, I mean, I'm sort of a person who's very attached to my own employees. Even when they leave after 2 months of their internship, I feel bad about it. But some of them are leaving after 2 years, 3 years. So that's something which I think I should have been. Now we have like investor coming in. We have to have an ESOP pool. We have to give it. So, now I have little bit less say in my own company because of the investors, right? So I think that is something which I would have changed, and I would have learned it better, and I would have offered right time.
Awesome, very well mentioned. So that is so not necessarily it's a mistake or you want to change, but that could. I'll share my example. eChai is a 15-year journey. For the first 9-10 years, it was just in Gujarat, and for a longer period, I thought that we could be great in a city where we live in. But their confidence wasn't there. But the day we went international, I realized in bigger ecosystem, what eChai does makes a lot of sense. So I realized that if I had that confidence way back, our journey would have been a little different. On the other side, since we've done such a great job in a smaller geography where the ecosystem didn't exist, it is so easy. Like in next 4 days, I'm doing 10 events in Bangalore. And the scale at what we operate is insane. Like you would meet a lot of people who talk about community. They'll do once in a month, eChai does. And this happens across all the cities in India. Any city you travel to, you'll have a very similar experience. Because we could build it in a city where there was no ecosystem. So that is an advantage. But I realized if we went international, if I had that confidence, we could have had a different journey. Nishant, what is that in your?
So that would have been in the case of Examedly, that I would have tried to build a bit of a personal branding. And that definitely would have helped with the user acquisition.
Okay, awesome. Ankita.
Yeah, so I think, one thing that I have realized is facing the reality, right? We build a lot of things with some imagination in our head. And at the end of the day, when you launch it with high hopes and super excitement, you see, yaar, kuch bhi to nahi hua, what did I expect and what did it turn out to be? So I think every bit of it, part of the journey, part of the growth journey, like you mentioned. So your imagination is something that is just yours. But in the product, it's not, in the market, it's not something that works out according to you. So you have to be, considerate to accept the reality, to accept how it is, and to plan out further and not be, heartbroken. So I think that's what I have learned. And also I have learned that in our startup journey, you are super busy 24/7. We say that, we can work when we want to, but actually we work every time and all time. So I've also realized that, you should have small breaks in between just to fulfill yourself, and that actually helps you in growing, right? So that is not a waste of time. That is investing in your startup on your well-being. So I think that is also what I say.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Why don't you have like a WhatsApp community and all?
I doing that.
I said, he didn't add me. He didn't add it.
See, this is my, I think, third eChai, this one. And every time, and I couldn't come for a lot of them because being a solo founder, sometimes, and I'm just become a new mother, so it becomes really, really tough. And I was traveling as well for work because of this investment. So, but then whenever I come here, I feel, I've been invited at various forums and I go more often than not. But I feel very, very at ease here. Every single time I come here, that the kind of questions you ask, the kind of questions audience asks, it's like, homecoming. And I was just thinking that he's sitting here that, every time I come here, I like this forum the most because of the questions that people ask. They're really genuine questions. They're not planted questions where you just ask. for the sake of asking. So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much.
Time.
We'll take a photo. If you can come on stage. Now we'll talk about building D2C brands. And big round is for Nanda and Mithul because they are part of Netcore team who are doing all these amazing things. So big round of. Manaal, if you can also come join in here. So Nanda, brief about you, brief about Netcore's program, and then we'll get to Manaal's.
Yeah. Firstly, I want to start with like how Srishty was highlighting about the experience of eChai. So this is a partnership from Netcore for startups and eChai. And thanks to eChai, so this is our third consecutive event at this venue. And the experience has always been incredible, having candid conversations with the founders. So thanks to eChai for being an integral partner. With that, I'll start. So I am part of Netcore. I'm building a startup program at Netcore. Netcore, it's a 25-year-old company, started with email. Today, it's a holistic 360-degree customer engagement, customer experience, and marketing automation platform it's utilized by most of the large-scale D2C consumer tech brands like Upgrade to Porter, Nykaa, etc. So we serve a lot more consumer brands. And the objective of Netcore for startups is to see, hey, how we can bring in this intelligence, bring in these learnings to the founders that we work with. And Manaal was actually part of one of the accelerator program that we had called D2C Blaze. So we try to bring in these learnings from the other founders, other marketers that we have worked with to get it to the founders and the marketing team so that they can start to implement in their early stage startup journey.
Awesome. Thank you. So there are unicorns and Netcore is a proficorn.
Yes.
There is a book being written about it.
Yes. Maybe I'll just highlight a bit about it. So one unique factor about Netcore is that we focus a lot on profitability, and at the same time, the brands that we work with, we ensure to work with them and figure out the frameworks and strategies so that we take you towards the profitable growth pathways. Rather than burning and becoming just a tagline unicorn, we want you to become profitable proficons. And proficon is a term coined by our founder Jain. So he coined it because Netcore is a fully bootstrapped profitable proficon.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Nanda. Manaal, if you can share us brief about your background, TailBlaze, and then there are a set of questions that I want to ask you.
Yeah, first of all, I feels like I'm sandwiched here and a lot of pressure.
Thoda dur ho jayega.
Yeah, thank you. I think, Nanda, you can better use B2C businesses because highlighting profitability has become such a thing, right? अगर मैं मेरे पापा को बोलूँ कि हम लोग प्रॉफिट को मार्केट कर रहे हैं तो वो तो by default है ना, उसको मार्केट क्यों करना है? So yeah, sorry, just there's some thoughts from Nanda's inputs. So yeah, I'm Maniyar. I'm the founder of TailBlaze. I mean, 2 years back, I thought that I cannot live without Einstein. Einstein is my everything, every day. I cannot imagine a day without him. And so philosophically, what I did was I got a tattoo of Einstein on my arm. So he flows in my blood now. And so philosophically, he's with me forever. But then, I always want that his physical time on earth should increase because dogs and pet dogs, I'm a pet parent. So their time is so short on this earth that it feels like every day is just too less. Even if I go out for 10 minutes, come back to my office or home, he's always there welcoming me. So I thought, how can I make his presence increase on this earth? And then that is when that was a thought always. But then when he was around 1 year old, the biggest shock or the jitter of my life came. And Einstein was 40 kgs obese in 1 year, at the risk of one heart attack in the next 1 year. And that was completely shattering for me. Yaar, 1 saal ka hai. By the way, if I speak in Hindi, beech mein, to is it all right? One-liners. The connect is there. So it's he's just 1 year old. How can he get an heart attack so soon? I was what do I do? So like a concerned mother, and I would say mother because Einstein came to my life on 14th of March 2020. That is when Sir Albert Einstein was born. So that's why the name. And I think he's the second Einstein who really deserves that name. He understands more than 600 commands in Hindi. So I can communicate with him anytime, anything. So we were locked down together for the lockdown period. And I became the mother. During that journey kind of started. So I looked around as a mother, concerned mother, how do I find the solution? And what do you do? You go to Google, you go to veterinary doctors, you go to stores, you go to experts. And that is when I figured out that is the problem. So from last 80 years, big brands such as Pedigree, Royal Canin, the Mars Group, they've been fooling pet parents, pet owners. Now there is a pet parent wave. They've been selling glorified junk product, which I can say like shit products inside the bag of a dog food. Sadly, there are no norms in the industry. So the pet industry, there are no global norms. You can sell anything and get away with it. There are some bodies, some governing bodies like AFCO. But if you look at who is there at AFCO, who is sitting at the AFCO board, same pedigree CPC. So it doesn't make sense. So everything was completely messed up. And they've been selling meat byproducts, chicken carcass, whatever is not saleable for human, just burn it and sell it. So this started way back in World War II. This is all my research told that during World War II there was a meat shortage, and so people had to survive. The West was fighting, and when the West is fighting, the East is always fighting, right? Because we were back in the days. So the West is fighting. There is meat shortage. What we do with the dogs, the fighter dogs, the pet dogs. So they thought, okay, whatever we are eating, let's burn it and world and everything. But this food didn't go. And last year it was a $200 billion industry. The pet industry was a $300 billion industry. Out of that, this food alone, the kibble food, which the Pedigree, the Royal Canin, the Akana, the Origin of the World sells, itself alone was $200 billion. And almost 13.9 million dogs were dying early every year just because they were consuming this food. And then that became a cause for me, and I left my job. I was a director of product and marketing at DealShare, wherein we scaled up the company from $40 million to $2.8 billion in just a matter of 20 months. Before that, I was the founding team member of Udaan. Udaan, I was the first, recruit in their pharma business in Gujarat. Took the numbers from 0 to 5 crores in 9 months. First employee hired 200 people. And I started my career with Reckitt Benckiser. After my MBA, I had a PPO from Reckitt. I was always a very brands guy. And look at the brands which Reckitt have across the globe. Dettol, Harpic, Lysol, CoLLearn, Durex, Witchguard, Ringguard, Moogard, Crack Cream. Every third product in your home could be a Reckitt Benckiser's product. So I always wanted to start with brands. Reckitt gave me the sales experience. Udaan gave me the 0 to 1 experience. DealShare taught me what not to do in your business, like once you start your business. So after that, all this became like mundane when my cause came to my life. And I thought, yes, now this is my calling. This is where I have to, be. I have to first save Einstein and so many other voiceless creatures who are just suffering because someone is minting billions and billions from last 80 years. And and every day matters to me. So every day I'm losing 38,000 dogs. So this is how, the pursuit began. And now we have put in love, sweats, tears and everything to make this possible as quickly as we can.
So Manaal, when you started this, did you leave your job and started working on it, or while you were working, you were figuring things out? What were the things you were doing in the first 3 months? Were there any hero products that you started with? What was it like?
I mean, fortunately, unfortunately, I did not come from a very, well-to-do family, so I had no option to just leave my job and start something. So obviously, when I was at my last job in DealShare, so Einstein came in 2020. I left my job in 2022. So this entire 2 years was about the journey of a mother becoming an expert mother. See, mothers always know what to do. How to do can be a problem when you are solving a major problem. For my kid, probably for you, your mother would know कि मेरे बेटे को क्या चाहिए. But now this mission became so big that I was probably solving it for 29 million more mothers like me. So this 2 years was the journey wherein I became a canine nutritionist myself. COVID gave that time that everything was online. So you become a canine nutritionist from US, UK, anything is possible. I leveraged that. I started working on a recipe. I also went and flew to UK once, wherein someone was making organic dog food himself, and they had a team of 19 people. I just messaged them on LinkedIn, a cold message. Did not get any reply. Tried. For the 5th time, I got a cold message. I told I need your guys' help. Your product cannot sell in India. Plus, it's too costly. But there are 40 million dogs in India who are also dying. So you need to help me. And they also were on a mission. So they called me over. I talked with them what they were doing, started understanding, came back to India, started formulating the recipe, the first product, the hero product, which was the first organic dog food from Asia. So started making it, found a manufacturer in, Mysore, where he was making. So the technology which we're using had never been used in a dog food. So I was like, how do I do it? Then the Gujarati in me told me, Jugaad and Paisa everywhere works. So I figured out a manufacturing facility which had the investment done, but I think it was not running on full capacity. So that owners or the factory guy's intention was ki meri factory full pe run kare. So I convinced him to make my dog product for R&D in his factory, and that is how the trials began. 1.5 years, Einstein himself tried. So 40 kgs, Einstein is now 30 kgs. Super fit, you can see his abs and everything. He had lost his rare right leg in an accident. It had broken into 2 pieces. He couldn't walk properly for 2 years. Now if you see, he runs every day for I think 4-5 kilometers 3 times across a day. So yeah, a lot of homework because before I actually, so I left my job on 10th of July. 3rd of July and 10th of July 2020 was the first day when the sale went live on TailBlaze website. So we had 7 days to prepare for the flash sale, that 1 rupee trial meal we are launching to get some traffic. And I think we got, like in 1 minute, we got 50 orders. We celebrated, we just started and we got 50 orders. So it was a lot of, work in the background before getting to the product first.
Awesome. One more question, then we'll open up for everyone. So right now the distribution happens through your website. Are there any marketplaces or B2B supplies or stores that you work with?
Interesting question. So I'm not a D2C company. We are an omni-channel company. So our group is called Sapple Group, and TailBlaze is one of the brands of Sapple Group. D2C is one of the channels for us. So yeah, definitely we are there on our website. We're there on Amazon and the other marketplaces. We're there on Cred as well. By the way, we are the only pet brand selling on Cred. So that's there too. Apart from that, we sell in more than 5 countries offline, which includes India, UK, Armenia, Georgia, and now we just started Australia today. The shipment will be going this week, and we'll be starting US as well. So we are an omni-channel brand, and we started first from offline because my industry was like that. So the pet industry in India is 90% offline, the split, which is coming from 50% pet stores to 40% veterinary doctor stores, and 10% is e-commerce. So I'm like, let me crack the bigger pie first, let me get the product market fit, and then we can anyway switch from offline to online. So yeah, we are an omni-channel brand to keep it short.
Awesome. We'll continue asking them questions, but anybody has any questions? Can you speak louder?
Was fair spot and go back and was a city degree where was all we take for that all but right that we started it's different from the right then all it is and all the hot there was something that like on the students in the category was amazing in just music that so that once on this time up yeah I'm doing that.
Okay, so I think I've answered it if you listen to my flow of saying things, okay? So, did I talk about how my food was better than pedigree? Very minutely, right? I started with my story. There are so many products out there. Everyone says that their product is best. As a consumer, I am browsing on Instagram, I am browsing on places. Everyone is just saying, yaar, mera product is best. Everything, like we do this, we do that. It might be possible that your product is actually best. But how do you make people believe? And we all are emotional decision makers. Howsoever you might feel that we make decisions practically. So I think you should have a strong story. You are not here to market your product. You are here to market your story. Why you have launched this product? What is your reason for solving this problem? My reason was very, very personal. It was a very intimate story, and then it became a mission. So that's what I think people would so we do a lot of experiments, right? As I said, a product ad versus a product ad, I might not show a lot of interest. For a new brand, I think with the limited funds, as you rightly said, it's not only about the funds, it's also about the content, the graphics, the multimedia you put out there. So I think if you tell your brand proposition very well, you might get a lower CAC also and a better ROS also. So it's not about that, it's about story. Stop marketing your product. Start telling why you are doing this and what is your story behind it.
Okay, very well mentioned. Anybody has any questions? Okay, I'll continue asking him questions. Why the name TailBlaze? D2C Blaze came first or TailBlaze came first?
I mean, I also asked Sunanda, did you take me in D2C Blaze because I was TailBlaze? But no, the reason was no. So, I took the name Perfect first. PAWFECT, like perfect. And what happened is, as a first time founder, I was very excited. I bought the domain, everything. But suddenly at 3 a.m. one night, I thought, let me check if Perfect is a brand somewhere else as well. Otherwise, I lose there is no point. I'll get the copyright issues. Then I went to this India trademark website. I see, Perfect is a brand based out of Noida. So I can't take it. A shocker came, like, shit. And by the way, I had also got my pamphlets printed in the name of Perfect and logo printed in the name of Perfect. And this is 3rd of July, I'm leaving my job. This is 4th of July, I realized this. 10th of July, there is a launch. And I'm like, shit, what now? And I couldn't sleep. And then I thought, okay, I have to calm down and understand what I'm trying to do. Then I thought, how does Einstein communicate to me? It came out like the tail says everything. It just wags. And it doesn't only wag, it wags at a blazing speed when it's very, very happy. And TailBlaze sounded similar to TrailBlaze. I was like, okay, we are introducing the first organic dog food in Asia. We are trailblazing into something new. We are creating a new category of dog food. There is a pedigree, there is a Mars who is selling kibbles, which is like shit. Again, I would say shit openly. And now we are creating a food which is organic. So we are trailblazing. So TailBlaze, the emotions came together and we got the name TailBlaze. And by the way, so the colors of TailBlaze are also blue and yellow. And the dogs can only see in the spectrum of blue and yellow. We have a Vibgyor eye vision. Dogs have only blue and yellow. So this color would be visible to them in something which is a mix of blue and yellow. So that's the reason for choosing the color palette.
Okay, awesome. Anybody has any questions? I'll continue. Yes, louder.
So how are you making ads thing go and best good?
So see, first launch was not only about story, because it is first launch. People will talk about it. People will eventually know about it. The information will go. And I already started an Instagram page. Okay, spent just around 5 to 7K, like 15-20 days before the launch. That a flash sale is coming. Get the Asia's first organic dog food with 65% protein and some claims, some emotional story and mix of both at 1 rupee. Now that 1 rupee kind of worked. 5,000 rupees I spent 5,000 rupees on product discounting. Itna to karna padega. Matlab, usse kam to I couldn't have imagined. So I think it was a mix of marketing tactics which attract people, plus also communicate what the product, what is the difference in the product, and that 1 rupee price point always works, right? And we said that limited for 5 minutes and all. We actually stocked it out after 5 minutes, even though like having stocks in that. So to create the real FOMO. So that's the kind of.
Okay, awesome. Anybody? Nanda, I wanted to ask you a question. You've been working with a lot of D2C brands. Everybody is now owning. Which is the interesting stories that you came across? That initially, as a eco enabler, you thought, this might not work, but you got surprised by seeing their success. Anything that comes into your mind?
I'll actually share a couple of examples within the program that we have. Similar to TailBlaze, we had another pet-focused startup in the program. It's called Basil Pet Care. I think Manaal has spoken a lot about the pet care industry. I'll shift a bit. I think there was one startup called Artincy. I think some of you might have come across that in the Shark Tank series. So even they were part of our program. I think the reason why we them interesting is because there's a personal connect, just like how Manaal was highlighting. So the founder of RTG, they've seen like, at a personal level, the challenges that the population today faces, diabetes, and how they can solve. We all love sugar, right? Like how they can solve for, getting an ice cream in for diabetes folks, right? So that's very interesting, use case that we have seen, and couple of other use cases. Maybe I'll not get into the details, but how actually some of the founders are looking at some of the market opportunities, right? There's another startup that we've recently worked with called Dirtle. So, and if you look at the consumer behaviors, Dirtle is a startup that are looking at how. So, if you look at the detergents, like we moved from powders to liquids, right? And if you go to US and if you see the behaviors, now they have like a tablets. So Dirtle is trying to bring in the behavior of the tablets into the detergent space, right? So these are some of the very interesting use cases that we come across, and that just keeps us motivating to continue to work with the founders to see how we can leverage their growth.
Okay. And Manal, now within pet foods category, now there are a lot of startups or brands coming up, seeing a lot of successful examples. You have a great personal story to it, that you are mission driven. But when you scale up, do you face competition? How do you tackle? You come up with innovative communication, catering to something that you do, somebody else doesn't do it, or that stage hasn't arrived yet, or how do you approach that?
I mean, you have asked my entire strategy, how do I do my business? So it's a very long, short thing. But just to tell you very critical elements which I feel that give us a competitive edge, because we're just 2-year-old and we're selling in 5+ countries offline, and which is profitable. Last month our PAT was 30%, profit after tax, and we have grown to, I think, from 0 to, I think, 5,000x. Like in the last 2 years, our growth has been 5,000x. So that's the growth. So I think the competitive advantage we have is, for the first 2 years, when I was working on formulation and product, I figured out that for my industry, there are not enough manufacturers available. Okay, it's not a health and beauty industry wherein you can get any product white labeled with your proposition and then launch a brand. Plus, the problem I was solving was a problem of the industry, that they are selling kibble and everyone knows how to make a kibble. Now, if I want to make a certain product which has never been made, what do I do? So we have 3 manufacturing facilities in India which are owned by us. So we make products in-house, okay? So the rate at which we launch products is unbeatable by any brand. So we already have 100+ products in a matter of 2 years. The rate at which we innovate. So I think Sharmishta and Saurabh are in the panel, and these are the best 2 food technologists in the country who knows pet nutrition. So the kind of team we have built is also very critical. And I think apart from that, communication, as I say, brand story, people have brand story, but how consistently they can communicate it, there the marketing comes into the picture. Does your brand story reflect at every touch point? So we are currently available in 200 stores in Bangalore as well, right? As a new brand. So our packaging conveys our brand story very well. Yeah, that's why. So there are a lot of things, I think, where we tried to do which the industry did not do, or we tried to create a difference. It was like I was watching Steve Jobs on Netflix, which was launched in 2015. And he focused so much on design of Mac. Like, I don't want people to see the gadgets. I want a complete cube, like everywhere. So I think that striving and that obsession for perfection, that even the product should not have one ingredient which I don't know of. Like, that obsession is really helping me, although it's taking a toll on my personal life. But yeah, that's the journey. I'm very happy I've made that sacrifice, and I'm happy to be on that journey.
Okay. Awesome. About the support things, your tech website is on Shopify or e-commerce platform. How is it being built?
Yeah, it's on Shopify.
It's on logistics. What do you use? How has been your experience working with these logistics service providers?
I think, we use a lot of aggregators, as a lot of startups really do, like be it Nimbus Coast, be it ShipRocket, and all these things. So they are like one-click integrated with Shopify, and whenever you get an order, it directly reflects in the panel. and you just have someone to pack it up and that is so far we haven't faced any issues. But as and when I think we scale up, we'll keep on adding more plug and play solutions. Like there is something called as Unicommerce, which manages your complete inventory. So we are talking with them. Then when your accounts increases, so everything gets very easily integrated into Shopify. Either you are using Shopify, you're using Woo, you're using Bcom, whatever you're using WordPress. So everything has like very plug and play easy solutions available out there.
Awesome. And when you are online, when you are scaling up, there could be online reviews about your brand. What happens in a case where people are not happy with the brand or they leave a negative review somewhere? Do you face that situation? What do you react? How do you react to that?
I think, when a negative review comes on a marketplace, you don't have any control because you don't know the customer data. When you are fulfilled by the, let's say Amazon fulfilled. So whenever I get an order on Amazon, I don't know the customer details because my stock is in their warehouse. So there, if the negative review comes, I don't have any control, right? But thankfully we haven't received many negative reviews yet. But once we got a review from Amazon, like the customer did not put a review. She was so kind and gentle, and I think because she had been through a story that she messaged us on her customer care that I got a product and it is smelling bad from Amazon, smelling bad, I don't know. And we figured out that Amazon actually destroyed it in their warehouse because it was mal handled there. And there was a hole in the packet, and I think that is why, because it is made from chicken, so the stale smell came in. But we told her that immediately discard that, and we are sending you new products from our website directly. And please, if you don't mind, can you put orders on our website directly going forward? So we create a very bad opportunity into a good opportunity, wherein now she is placing an order on my website. So I think it depends on case to case. But whenever we go to the root cause, and try to figure out that what would have went wrong. And we are very genuine. If there is a mistake from our side, we accept it and we kind of solve them. And so that's, I think, being honest is the framework, and then everything is very case by case dependent.
Okay, awesome. Anybody has any questions? How's your team structure? Like the team that you are they pet parents or everybody, or is there a criteria that you have in addition to the skill set that they may need to have?
Yes, thank you. You mentioned that in every job post we do, we mention at the bottom, love for pets is the must. That's the most important criteria. Now, that love for pets can come out being as a parent or in general. I think we have Sharmishta also again. So Saurabh is a pet parent. Sharmishta is not a pet parent. But I think when I interviewed her, she was in Kolkata, and I talked to her and I figured out, okay, maybe she doesn't understand the pets so much right now, but she's very good at what she does. So she scores there and she loves pets. So yeah, that's an important thing. So that is what we do. Team size, I think we are a very lean team, and because these guys slog a lot, they work more than me, I think, most of the days. So we have someone handling our social media. She's based out of Philippines because we have a global team as we are in, targeting the global industry. And we work with a lot of agencies where we feel that if I'm getting the resources and the capabilities at, let's say, 25,000 a month, why should I hire a full-time resource at 50,000? So that's a lot of decision which I make internally, where to hire, where to not hire, and then it's up to that.
Okay, so as a founder, there are like day-to-day challenges, but you navigate and you figure out the way. That's the way to go. From your experience in recent times, what is the challenge you faced? How did you navigate it out of it? Manaal, you.
Recent challenges, every day is challenging.
But any one thing that, so we get to know that, okay, we will take back at our home and we'll figure out. But anything that you figure out that this was a challenge, and how did you navigate it out of it?
So it's a very internal thing, but it's in top of mind because I had a conversation today. So we were very close to get a celebrity as an investor in the company, like a celebrity with 90 million following on Instagram. I had met their team and everything. I went to their home and everything. And it was like very, very on the verge of closing that, yes, she's coming on board in TailBlaze and as a very critical part. And what happened is, because these people also are time crunch, so processes takes time. Like first conversation, between two conversations, there are sometimes 1 month of gap. So what happened is, meanwhile, they were evaluating some other company in other industry as well. And it was much ahead of us in terms of the conversation that was going on. and she became a co-founder in that company, and she got invested in that so much completely that they actually apologized to me that, we so want to do this, but we have taken up something so priority right now, and it's like we have given them the word and we have invested, so we don't want to do a half-hearted job. And then we were like,
products. So one, it's a channels, right? Like Manaal said about Shopify, multiple channels. Like we've heard about how WhatsApp is being leveraged. So Netcore has multiple channels where you can leverage your customer touch points across email, SMS, WhatsApp, push notification, web notification, in-app messages. So because we offer these touch points within a single platform, these $30,000 is distributed across these products, and that way startups can avail these credits so that they don't have to spend early in their journey. They don't have to cash it out. Rather than utilize the credits, implement it, and continue to experiment. And at the same time, the products are mostly leveraged by B2C brands for retention use cases.
Okay.
So the customers who are looking to fix their retention, that's where we fit in and we come in and work with them.
And how can they get started? They go to website, apply, meet them, and you select that.
Yeah, we have a very long form.
It's not that easy.
Yeah, so one way is like we talk to startups. We actually get on a call, understand. It's almost similar to we investing in the startup. So we be mindful about like, hey, how can that startup can leverage not just the product aspects of it, right? Like let's say today Manaal is here. He was part of our program. And how can we work with you, not just for the product, but like how can you work with you to continue to add value, right? So we continue to see, how well we can work with the founder and the teams. So the form will help us to understand like this more about the startup, the team structure, and the type of retention use cases that they're trying to solve. And once they fill the form or we interact, then we start onboarding them. And we also suggest some of the use cases that they may have not thought about, which might be critical for them. So we suggest them and then we get started with the onboarding process. It's quite contrary to probably like how someone can get onboarded within Shopify, because we work with a lot of enterprises and we get that enterprise knowledge to the startup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I wanted to ask this question in the earlier panel also. So I'll ask you also. So as an entrepreneur, sometimes when you listen to founders, it feels like it's a very sad job. And that is not something that we want to pursue because there are always challenges. So tell us two extremes. The highs are high, lows are low. Which was the most difficult day in your journey and which was the most happiest moment? And then Ankita and Srishty, you also respond to that.
I mean, just taking an anecdote, how many of you have seen the Pursuit of Happiness movie? Like show of hands, I think. Because people I'm just seeing they're too tired and it's too hot, so, So it's like that, like, the pursuit is always ongoing. Happiness is all momentary, so I'm living in my factory from last 1 month because I put my bed in my cabin and because I'm having some lot of work at factory and I cannot, afford to go to home. So it's a journey, it's full of thorns. And I love it. I love walking on the thorns because, as I said, we have put our blood and everything. And then after like walking some bit on thorns, there's an oasis nearby. We stop, we drink some water, we celebrate and we move on because the mission is so big. So it's that. I mean, I won't say I have highs, lows. It's always like this. In fact, I'll be very honest. The day when we are having our highest high, the next day we are having our lowest low.
Correct.
And I've always seen this. I don't know, it's a pattern or something. The next day is the lowest low because, you have that expectation, everything, and the next day becomes low. So it's a journey, and I just, if you are really passionate about it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whatever comes your way. You just, as I said, you just hang on and you just go for it madly. So that passion is important. Highs and lows to aate rehte hain.
Okay. I'll just add my experience. So me and my wife, we were in a relationship. Our family was against our relationship, and they didn't understand what I do with eChai. But with eChai, we had built some network. So on the day where we were supposed to meet, I made a conscious effort to speak to a lot of journalists in that city where I was going. And on the day the event was supposed, there was my photo on the feature was featured that I'm visiting that city for launching eChai. And then in the evening I was meeting her father. So he didn't understand what work I was doing. But my story was featured in newspaper because of the work that I was doing. Then I realized, okay, so that is not the super success in life, but on that day I felt it's good that I'm a founder, that I can channelize this for something that happened in my life. So Srishty is something that
उससे पहले कितनी बार झगड़े हुए पापा से फिर?
वो बात ही नहीं कर रहा था.
So that's the person.
So there are challenges, but as a founder, which was the moment where you genuinely felt so happy that you are the founder?
For me, I mean, I genuinely felt very happy when, I feel happy when my students come back and say that you have changed my life. And honestly, that's, I mean, some students will write that I've been trying from so many long years, always wanted to work in cricket. I always wanted to do something for my country in cricket. And today you gave me that platform, and I'm so glad that you have, I joined, I found out about CoLLearn and the amount of support that you guys have given us. That's for me the best, kick. Honestly, I mean, there are days, it's with everybody. Manaal will agree that there are days when you feel like, do you really want to do this? Why did you leave your cushy job in Dubai and just came back here? And it's tough. Entrepreneurship is really, really tough. I mean, it's one of the toughest thing on earth, I guess. I was told when I was doing my MBA that, get into investment banking and that's the toughest thing and your life will be set. Entrepreneurship is 100 times tougher than investment banking, the toughest job in finance. So I feel, but it's one of the most satisfying thing that you do. I mean, I'm now raising my first baby, and I've already raised CoLLearn for 4 years now. So I feel that the next, something that can come close to running a startup would be becoming a mom or becoming a parent. Because it's as tough as that. Your parenting journey is also that tough because every day, your kid throw a challenge and you figure out how to deal with it. Same is true with entrepreneurship. But if you love it, if you think you are impacting somebody's life, if it gives you that kind of happiness, go for it. I mean, there is no better way to do that. So for me, the highest high which has come is from my student. Second is all these recognitions which keep coming. Though they have fleeting effect. Till the time it doesn't come, it's very elusive. You always feel, okay, what if I become part of Google Accelerator program and they project me in front of Sundar Pichai and all of that. It feels really good before it comes. Once it comes, it's fine. I mean, it's okay. We got into, India's first sports conclave happened and we were the nationwide winner. And we got 10 lakh rupees. Before it came, I was like, even if I get 1 lakh, I'll go to, Ahmedabad and pitch. Let's see. I mean, my aim was only to get that last wala 1 lakh ताकि मेरा आने जाने रहने का खर्चा निकल जाए. लेकिन जब 10 लाख आया, उस समय बहुत happiness हुई. दूसरे दिन, it's okay यार, तुम्हें तो आके काम करना है. Right? So all these things are good. They give you social credit and it should come at regular intervals. But मतलब ज़्यादा happiness तभी आती है जब आपके product को आपका customer appreciate करता है, वो मन से appreciate करता है. और उसके लिए I think every startup and every startup founder has to put their जी जान into it. क्योंकि जब तक वो नहीं आएगा ना, आपको अच्छी happiness नहीं मिलने वाली है. So yeah, for me that's the answer.
Very well. Ankita, when you genuinely feel that founder, I'm happy that I'm a founder.
I think I could relate to what Srishty said, right? The highs are there, but जो first time जो high रहता है, जैसे for example हम लोग का जिस दिन highest revenue था, right? We were like, wow, everybody was like refreshing the numbers every second and seeing. But I think the emotional highs are when you get feedbacks and, well wishes from the customers, right? Because you have impacted their lives. So for our case, the feedbacks that we get are super, super emotional. Are so emotional that, maybe हम लोग को वो इतने आशीर्वाद देते हैं कि for you guys, we have been able to offer a puja and get the prasad directly at home without going there, right? One such case we figured out was there was this customer who did a manokamna for her father who was severely ill and hospitalized and probably there was a doubt that, whether he would survive. And she offered the puja with all her, emotions and everything. And within a couple of days, he actually got well and he came back home. And then we got a call from the customer saying, ki, aap logo ki wajah, even now when I am telling, I get goosebumps, that these kind of stories, keep coming up. And for us, we are just a mediator in the process, right? We are not the ones who are taking their prayers to the temples. We are just a mediator. But for them, we are everything, right? At those low points. Probably people go to temples and go to these places when they have lost hope in everything else, right? And at that point of time, when we come in, I think the response that we get is super, super emotional. So I think I would, agree with Srishty that the emotional highs are much more higher than the exciting highs.
It's 8:30 and pizza has also arrived. So the last question. What's your long shot, Manaal? Like, if everything happens the way you imagine it would be, what would TailBlaze be?
I mean, the long shot is when I get this number of 38,000 dogs dying every day early to zero. That's the only mission, and that's what I want to be.
Okay, awesome. Srishty, what's your long shot? What's your long shot? That everything happens the way you imagine it would be. What would CoLLearn?
If everything is ideal in life, I want every kid who is really passionate about sports to opt sports as a career option, because it's very meaningful, it's very passionate, and people just love, talking about it, being in that. But in India, sadly, even today, we want our kids to be doctor, engineer, and accountant. So if the kid is interested, I want every kid should have an option, a viable career option as sports. And I want, जहाँ पे doctor, engineer, account लिखा हो, चौथा option sports लिखा हो, और हर बच्चा इंडिया का बोले कि हाँ, अगर मुझे स्पोर्ट्स में इंटरेस्ट, भले ही विराट कोहली ना भी बनूं, it's fine, but I'll still have a very, very meaningful, I can make Virat Kohli in my life. So for me, that would be my long shot, कि जहाँ पे, लोग, so
awesome.
That's.
Ankita, what's your long shot?
Focusing on the right day. For any person being paper, it's serious. I don't think was saying I'm to the little something. But currently at the end of the day, you're the beautiful these citizens and see had started up at the side that he started to hold kill on sauce and the guy there and they.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Linda, you have any call to action? Okay, so do check out our website. We host these events everywhere. Tomorrow we have your event happening in Whitefield at HSBC. We do a decent scale. Any city you happen to go to, you'll discover similar thing everywhere. And most of these events we do are free because I'm trying to solve for the person that I was 15 years back. But we do have a lot of partners. Thanks to them, thanks to Netcore, a lot of other partners, we could do these events for free. And you can check out that. Another thing that happens is we have this interesting eChai feed. You get a lot of social media content being listed or curated over here. So basically, इसका हिंदी में पंच आएगा. आप इंटरनेट पे eChai के बारे में कहीं पे अच्छा लिखोगे तो मैं आपके बारे में यहाँ पे अच्छा लिखूंगा. So you'll be able to see a lot of this content written by people. So it's an interesting feed. So if you want to know, for example, this is a D2C event, and you want to know what is happening in Hyderabad among D2C founders who attend eChai events. So you'll get interesting context in addition to these events. So do check out eChai feed. For example, Tarjini had attended one of the eChai event where she mentioned some key learnings from that event. So be part of it. And if you want to attend any of the events that we've been doing this week, do let me know. Tomorrow's one is curated. Rest of these events are free, open for all. Now we'll take a nice group photo. And before that, Nanda would say something.
Yeah, I think maybe Bitul, you want to share about the showcase page? Yeah. So Netcore for startups, I think I've shared a bit about it. So we support startups not just with products, but also with mentorships, investor connects, and any which ways we can be part of your early stage journey, which will add value to you. So that's where you can consider Netcore. In case if you're building in the B2C space and looking to solve for retention and any of the use cases that you are looking to tackle through either any of the channels, like I said, email, SMS, WhatsApp, push notification, web notification, or through a holistic multi-touch journeys that you want to establish within your mobile or web application, that's where you can think about Netcore. Yeah, we've done quite a few initiatives. One of the for the accelerator program that we launched in the D2C space. As a CTA, just go check out Netcore for startups or Netcore Cloud, and you can, if you feel like this could be a value addition for your startups at this point in time, feel free to reach out to any one of us. It's Nanda and Mithul who's been working, to set up the event also. Yeah, Mithul, you can just say hi. Yeah. So we'll be around. Yeah, if you can catch up with us, and happy to take it up. And lastly, again, thanks to Jatin for making this evening. And we are actually happy that we did a couple of events with eChai, but this is like the first event where Jatin himself was present. So happy for that. Thanks, Jatin.